Topic I'm going to explain about is sodium ion batteries. Sodium ion batteries were discovered in the early 1980s, approximately over the same time period as LIB's 105. So let me move on to the introduction part. So as you can see in the picture, these are sodium ion batteries. So the sodium particle battery is a type of rechargeable battery. That means they can be charged after the use. They are analogous to lithium ion batteries. That is, they are similar to lithium ion batteries, but sodium ions are used in it as charge carriers. That is Na plus ions. Its working principle and cell construction are most similar to the lithium ion batteries, but the sodium components are used instead of lithium components. That's what makes the huge difference between sodium and lithium ion batteries. So sodium ion batteries, they had a huge commercial interest in the 2010s and 2020s as a possible complementary technology to lithium ion batteries, largely because the lithium ion batteries weren't used because of the uneven geographical distribution, high environmental impact, and high cost of many elements required for lithium ion batteries. So later on, lithium-ion batteries were introduced. So then they came to use because they had better characters, as if the sodium-ion batteries were heavier than the lithium-ion batteries. Then sodium-ion batteries were expensive. Then then the lithium-ion batteries came into more use than the sodium-ion batteries. So next, let's go on to the topic how sodium ion batteries are made. Sodium ion batteries are made. So this is a process of abstraction. So the step one, keeping a sodium salt on the outer layer of the positive terminal. So a sodium salt is kept on the outer layer of the positive terminal, that is the anode. So then next step two, collecting the positive anode, the negative cathode, and the electrolyte. Positive anode, negative cathode, and the electrolyte is collected. Then step three is shaping a passivation layer on the outer layer of the negative cathode. So passivation layer is shaped on the outer layer of the negative cathode with the sodium particles from the decay of sodium salt. So this is all about abstraction process. Let's go on to the next slide. In NIBs, that is sodium ion batteries, sodium particles shuttle between the positive anode and the negative cathode during charging. So they shuttle in the sense they transport between the anode and the cathode, or the particles can also transport in the either direction. Also, they can transport in any direction, that is from anode to cathode or cathode to anode. That is called shuttling. So during the charging process, the sodium ions are extracted from the cathode and inserted into the anode. That is, during the charging process, the sodium ions move from the cathode to the anode. That's what is mentioned in the third point more elaborately. Electrons are pushed from the cathode to the anode. So through the electric circuit during charging process. Let's move on to the next slide. Working of sodium ion batteries. It's the most important part of the sodium ion batteries concept. Sodium ion particle battery cells comprise of a cathode, that is the negative terminal, in a view of sodium containing material. So the cathode contains the sodium material and a fluid electrolyte, that is containing separated sodium salts in a polar protic solvent. Fluid electrolyte is contained in a polar protic solvent. What is a polar protic solvent? Polar protic solvent is a solvent that has an hydrogen atom bound to an oxygen atom, as in an hydroxyl group. Like example are water. It is a normal polar protic solvent. It is used as an electrolyte. During so- sodium particles are separated from the cathode and embedded into the anode while electrons travel through the outside circuit. So that's what the sodium particles travel from the cathode and to the anode while the electron travel to the outside circuit. That happens during charging. During releasing, the opposite reaction happens. That is, the particles travel from the anode to the cathode, once again embedded in the cathode with the electrons going through an outer circuit, accomplishing for the helpful work. Next process. Advantages and disadvantages of sodium ion batteries contrasted with lithium particle batteries. That is, current sodium like present sodium particle batteries have to have some greater expense. They are very expensive and lower energy thickness and well-being qualities and comparable power conveyance attributes. If the expense of sodium particle batteries is additionally diminished, if the expense is diminished and the weight is reduced, it can be used in the market. It can be found in the market as soon as possible, as we are using the lithium ion batteries. So now the most used batteries are lithium ion battery instead of sodium ion batteries. Though though the sodium ion batteries have are better than lithium ion batteries in some characters, such as they are non-inflammable and they do not conduct thermal runaway, then they are so in these characters they are very bad. They are better than lithium ion batteries. So let's move to the next topic. Are the sodium ion batteries better than lithium ion batteries? Yes, they are better than lithium ion batteries because they can operate at a wider temperature range. They can work more efficiently in the cold environments than the lithium ion batteries. Yeah, lithium ion batteries do not work properly in the cold environments. Another advantage of sodium ion batteries over lithium ion batteries are they are non-inflammable. That is, they do not catch fire easily, and there is no thermal runaway. Thermal runaway means which begins when the heat is generated within a battery. It exceeds the amount of heat with the close, like the battery which is close to that, it exceeds the amount of heat with the next battery. So the pattern will continue, and thus the term is mentioned as thermal runaway. So here in the lithium batteries, the thermal runaway happens, whereas in the sodium particle batteries, thermal runaway won't happen. That's why sodium ion batteries are better than lithium ion batteries. But nowadays, due to expense and heaviness and thickness, lithium ion batteries are used the most. So thank you and have a nice day.